Hey guys, Dan here with Pain For You. Got to stand real close to the house here because yesterday's video was brutal. Too much wind, and I apologize for that. It didn't seem that windy, and I kind of had the microphone, I guess, away from the wind, but boy did that make a mess of yesterday's audio. Apologize for that. So hopefully this one's a little better, even though it's pretty windy out. Today's topic is are you treating your symptoms? And I'll get into that in a minute, but as we have been doing recently, just a couple of deep breaths. Take a look at the woods behind me, the trees. Breathe in the confidence. Breathe out the fear. Breathe in the knowledge. Breathe out the skepticism and doubt. Breathe in the smiles and breathe away the anger. Whatever you want to do. Pick what works for you. But I just wanted to talk to you today. I've been participating a little bit in one of the TMS groups, and somebody had posted a picture of her body as it's all twisted up and jacked up. And if you guys know my story, I spent a lot of years jacked up like that, all twisted. And I kind of chimed in and kind of, gave in my 2 cents as to, hey, here's what you do. Don't worry about it too much. And I can't believe it, but it feels like there's a couple of snowflakes, which is bizarre. Anyway, let me keep going. So I threw in my 2 cents as to, okay, don't worry about it. I was that way for a long time. Here's my picture, and you'll be fine. And that's just the result of TMS, right? You're not in pain because you're twisted. You're not having these muscle spasms because there's a problem with your muscles. It's because it's all TMS, right? And so I just kind of redirected her back to some of the foundational stuff. Know you're well, feel your emotions, soothe yourself, get the mindset right. Don't get freaked out by this flare-up of pain that's got you all jacked up and twisted. And a few messages back and forth, and she was very appreciative. But it was interesting, now that I commented on that thread, I'm now getting notified of any time somebody else comments. And it really, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but I was shocked at the type of suggestions that people were offering to this lady. Everything from CBD oil and probiotics and sauerkraut and chiropractic and stretching, and here's this great book about stretches and moving your body. And my first thought to seeing all of that was, don't these people understand TMS? And my belief is that many of them probably don't have a deep knowledge of TMS, and therefore they are treating symptoms, and therefore they may not be getting the results they want. And I went back and forth on this for much of my 13 years of pain. I would try doing stretches all the time, and I would convince myself that it was because after I stretched I felt a little bit better. But I know I was confusing the brain. I was telling the brain that it's physical because I keep on stretching and I keep on doing these things. Did chiropractic for a while, did physical therapy towards the end because I was so crooked and I wanted to get straightened out a little bit. And I convinced myself that it wasn't to fix the pain, it was there to straighten me out. But inevitably after 6 weeks of physical therapy, I was worse than I had ever been. Because for 6 weeks in a row I had somebody saying, you're all messed up, you're really screwed up, look at you. And this was a professional telling me how jacked up my body was, and they couldn't figure out how to get me undone. The problem was none of the physical therapy was working because I was treating the symptom. And I was not addressing the cause, which was TMS, mind-body syndrome, stress illness. My body was jacked up because of unresolved negative emotions and not attending to them. My body was jacked up because I believed that certain movements were painful and certain positions sitting in my chair were painful, so I'm going to slouch sideways this way and all sorts of things. So I went back and forth for a lot of years, making a lot of the mistakes that I point out, and I tried to treat the symptoms. And I only got better when I fired my physical therapist and says I will never go back to them again. I really got the mindset right. I decided I really don't give a crap about these symptoms. And I started to really, towards the very end, focus on feeling my emotions, soothing myself. Mindset of indifference, meaning I don't care if I hurt or not, because I'm going to shift my focus back to living my life. And that is when I kind of turned the corner at the very end. And what's funny is every time I mention, oh, I've had 13 years of pain, inevitably somebody goes, well, that's not very encouraging, Dan. It took you that long? I don't have that much time. And so keep in mind, I first got pain 23 years ago. So what was that, back in 97 or so? It was in the days before YouTube and Facebook and all of these coaches and training programs. And I don't know if you can see it, but it is literally so bizarre. It's snowing. I don't think it's rain. I think it's actually snowing, which doesn't make sense because it's in the 40s. So anyway, so I will strongly suggest that if you are trying to deal with your pain through physical movements, stretching, yoga, chiropractic, physical therapy, probiotics, sauerkraut, CBD oil, massage, and all of these physical modalities, you're kind of walking that fence. You're kind of saying, yeah, and somebody even said, treat the symptoms until you can do the mind-body work. And again, Sarno really encouraged people to stop doing these physical treatments. I mean, that was, this is a guy who figured this stuff out in the beginning. And the reason for that is, as long as you are trying to fix and treat the body, the brain is going to latch onto this belief that there is a body problem, and therefore it will interpret any type of movement or bending or stretching or anything as potentially dangerous, because you keep telling it through your physical treatments that there's a problem with the body, and your brain won't learn that your body's actually okay and safe to move until you actually say, I trust my body. I know I'm well. And it's a decision you can make. It's a decision you need to make. And I know sometimes these physical treatments like the heat or the ice or the massage chair or whatever can sometimes give you a little temporary relief. And I won't say that when you're in a real flare-up, don't be kind to yourself and don't give yourself any relief. But look, if that's your long-term strategy, and then you're 2 months, 3 months, 6 months in and wondering why you're not getting better, what message are you sending to the brain about your pain? Are you sending it the message that things like probiotics and sauerkraut might help me end my pain? You're not reading the TMS literature. You're not aware of what TMS is. It has nothing to do with that. CBD oil, massage, chiropractic even. Look, I know when I went to the chiropractor, I'd walk out of there much straighter and feeling better, and that was great. But like an hour and a half later, I was like all jacked up again. So it was very temporary, and it was very costly. And I was absolutely sending a message to my brain, particularly because it was coming from this doctor of chiropractic that, yeah, we've got to fix you, and we've got to twist you and turn you, and he didn't understand Sarno. And basically, I was giving my brain very conflicting messages because I was trying to fix my body with these physical modalities and then convince myself that, yeah, my body's fine. Well, then why am I not acting like my body is fine? When I say acting like your body's fine, I'm not saying go out and run a marathon tomorrow. What I'm saying is stop treating your physical body. I'm not saying don't take a pain med once in a while or some aspirin or whatever. To be kind to yourself. I think that's a little different than, physical modalities. So, are you treating your symptoms? Or are you taking a step back from that and then focusing on the cause, which is TMS, which is feeling your emotions, soothing yourself, getting the mindset right, focusing on living your life and not on the pain all day long? Know that it's TMS, decide and accept that it's TMS. And if you accept that it's TMS, I'm sorry, going to physical therapy, chiropractic, massage, stretching, yoga, and yoga, that's kind of on the line there because there are emotional and soothing benefits of yoga. So if you're doing yoga, go because you love it, not because you think it'll fix your back or fix your pain or sciatica or whatever you've got going on. So I just really, after seeing this whole thread of messages, and at least half of the messages in this group were recommending physical treatments or books about physical treatments and everything else, and just really compelled me to come out here and shoot a video about this because even in my group, there's not quite as much symptom discussion or treatment discussion. I try to really keep it honed in and focused on this mind-body stress illness approach to getting rid of our symptoms. But boy, it really jumped out at me in that other group how people in a TMS-focused group are still, like half of them, we're still talking about physical treatments, and it just kind of blew me away a little bit, and wanted to make sure that anybody watching these videos is really well aware of treating the symptoms doesn't work. And the analogy I give is, you walk into your kitchen and there's water all over the floor. So you grab your mop and some towels and you start mopping up the floor. That's treating the symptoms, when in fact the sink is clogged and the water is running. Treating the cause would be shutting off the water. You can mop up the floor all you want, but if you don't treat the cause, which is the water on in the stopped up sink, the water's going to keep on coming and flooding the floor. So treating the symptoms sometimes will give you a temporary benefit, but if you don't stop the water from flowing in the sink, the cause is going to keep it persistent. So please stop treating symptoms. Address the cause. The cause is that your brain thinks your body's having a problem. You got to shift your focus away from your body to your emotional world, to soothing yourself, to convincing your brain, selling it on the fact that you're actually okay. These symptoms don't matter. And, shift your focus back to what you want. Gratitude, connection, joy, peace, love, purpose. What do you want to do with your life when the pain's gone? Because guess what? If you get these things dialed in, it will be gone. Then you're going to be sitting there going, wow, what do I want to do with my life? And it's an interesting dilemma because some people actually go, I don't know. I've been in pain so long. I really don't know what life would be like without pain. And that can actually be scary to some people because they've had, 2, 5, 10, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of pain. It's kind of their identity. And so what I will tell you is if you're in that place where you don't know what life's going to be like without pain, all I can tell you is it is brilliant, it is freeing, it is amazing to be able to have the choice as to how you go about your day without having to always accommodate for a body that hurts or has other symptoms going on. So please don't be afraid of a life without pain. Just dive in, get these concepts dialed in, and know that there's a better future. And, there is a life after pain, and I'm proof of it. 10 years, no pain, 2 minor twinges for a week or 2 each time, but otherwise no physical limitations, and I can literally make whatever decisions I want to make about my life, my career, my vacations, whatever I want to do without having to say, can I handle that physically? I flew to Thailand with my son a year and a half ago. 20-something hours worth of plane flight. I didn't think about my back. It wasn't a problem. It didn't even cross my mind when I booked the tickets. And so I had a fantastic time seeing Thailand with my son. And so you can have the same type of freedom of movement and freedom from the fear of movement that I got. But stopping the treatment of symptoms is really, in my opinion, a first step. And are you willing to trade, this is really important, are you willing to trade long-term success for an hour or two of relief. You know, if you're at a 10 out of 10 pain, sometimes that hour or two of relief is the only thing that keeps us sane, and I get that. But once you get it down a little bit more, you're going to want to discard these physical treatments, because those physical treatments may just be the thing that forces your brain to stay stuck, and you could be trading a couple hours of relief for long-term success. So please keep that in mind as you evaluate and consider these physical treatments. And love you guys and gals. For anybody who's watching that was part of the group discussion and offering these physical remedies, I am not insulting you. I'm just encouraging you to dive deep into TMS knowledge and knowing that it's created by the brain. It's not a body problem. So treating the body will do nothing other than confuse your brain and give it mixed messages about how to get rid of the pain. And so no judgment, no criticism, no mockery, nothing. I honor you, I love you, and sometimes it surprises me in a TMS group how many times there are physical suggestions, physical treatment suggestions offered by people in the group. Lovingly, kindly, they truly believe they're, offering the right things. But I will challenge you and everybody to question, am I willing to trade a couple hours of relief for potentially not getting to the end of this journey and getting completely pain-free? I don't think it's worth it. So anyway, with that, I'm going to sign off for this video. Love you guys and gals. I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.